Welcome back, everyone, to Business Talk, the show where we dive deep into the industries that keep our world moving forward. I'm your host, Didier, and in today's episode, I'm speaking with Dr. Vaz. He's the owner of Vitality Medical. How you doing, Dr. Vaz?
Doing good. Having a great afternoon.
Listeners, each episode, we sit down with experts, innovators, and business owners to uncover the real stories and insider knowledge. Plus, we will discuss some important topics as it relates to their industry. And if you enjoy the content and want to hear more, please be sure to hit the subscribe button, like, comment, all those good things to help us continue to push this out in the YouTube algorithm. With that being said, I want to kind of allow Dr. Vaz to kind of share with everybody, our listeners, his background. Dr. Vaz.
Good to be here, Didier. I mean, my background is three words: passion for medicine. That's my background. Since I was very little, I had a knack for healing. My dad, paramedic by trade, and I took it to the next step in medicine. So generationally, I was able to achieve that growth and that evolution, and came into medicine as an internist and ringside physician at 2013. I started my career in 2002 in med school, but graduated and entered the real world in 2013.
As everybody says, right, the real world.
Yeah, people say, no. I've been a doctor for X amount of time. I started in med school. No. When you graduate, you have your license and you form your first LLC or you sign your first contract with a company. That's your genesis. That's
right.
That's day zero. That's day zero right there. So in 2013, I worked for a company for the better part of the first 6 or 7 years of that beginning in medicine. And then I decided to turn to entrepreneurship and to really change the paradigm and inject my personality into medicine. As you know, when having a brand yourself, when you sign on the dotted line a contract as a physician, you have thousands of hours in blood, sweat, and tears, nights lost, birthdays missed, family members that pass away, and you're not able to say goodbye just to get the craft. But as soon as you sign for blank hospital, you're representing them and you cease to be the person that gave all that blood, sweat, and tear to achieve the career.
Right.
I decided to stop doing that and start representing myself and start building a unique brand and delivery of healthcare a different way. So I've been doing that for the better part of the last 4 years, and I absolutely love it. I would have done it earlier, but I realized that experience needed to come, and I needed to stumble and to, be called in by some CEOs or COOs because they didn't like a Facebook post that I made.
Mm-hmm.
And they reminded me, hey, we're paying you and you have to represent us. And I'm like, oh, I know what I need to do.
That's yep. And I like what you said. The two words I got out of that is I got out of a lot of what you said, but the words you said, unique brand.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty powerful, man, right? As a business owner, we all want to create that unique brand that continues to move, for decades to come.
Yeah.
So that's interesting. So where has that led you today? And I know, again, you being the owner of Vitality Medical, you offer so many different services from regenerative medicine to bioidentical hormone treatment, food allergy testing, anti-aging. Any of those you want to kind of pick up on and talk about?
And I'll tell you what's near and dear to my heart right now.
Mm-hmm.
Vascare Clinic, right, is my brick and mortar. And what I would say that it's the most important thing for me is access to healthcare. Right now, the paradigm, and this is the most important thing that I'm going to discuss today. We'll talk about some other stuff, but this is the message I want to give. Right now, healthcare has been taken over by corporate America, right? But 9/11 happened, and a lot of people said, well, investment is unstable. We need a industry that has solid footing, that never suffers through war or through recession. What industry is it? Healthcare. And the hostile take or the Gucci shoes and Prada belt takeover of medicine started around around the 2005 2006 with the acquisition of hospitals and insurances slowly but surely creeping up their involvement in healthcare, from merging pharmaceutical companies and pharmacies, from buying pharmacies to buying clinics and having doctors working for insurances, which is a paradigm that I would never understand how it's legal. But they started being healthcare. So healthcare insurances started being healthcare. Imagine if car insurances would start buying tire shops,
Mm-hmm.
car auto parts, right? People would deem it, illegal and, what's the word I'm looking for?
A monopoly or
A monopoly, right? People will be like, how can you be, how can you be Geico and own tire shops?
right.
Being a monopoly, but it was allowed for healthcare insurances to slowly but surely be the only game in town, owning urgent cares, hospitals, and all that good stuff. So doctors are relegated as employees, and as employees, we have no say in cost of care or access to care. I decided to break with my $250,000 a year salary and say, you know what? I'm gonna start from zero. Okay. And a visit in my clinic, the vascular clinic, is going to be $50 flat. That's a flat fee. My friends, other doctors said that's crazy. Okay. You're shooting yourself on the foot. You're being crazy. It's not going to work. And you need to be employed, and you need to go back to the model that works and make X amount of money, work in your 401k. But that has no vision and that has no spice in life.
Right.
And if you dedicated your career to helping people, but you sold out to a big corporation, not that that's bad, right? In practice,
Right.
morally, not the best thing to do. So I decided to take control, and everybody that walks through my doors has price transparency. There's no outgoing bills. There's no outgoing collections. In some instances, patients say, "Hey, doctor, I just have $40. Can I be seen?" I'm like, "Step in. I got you."
Wow.
So I create a culture of showing that healthcare can be delivered in a different way with a different paradigm. Of course, it takes other things to allow that, right? We have to run a skeleton crew. I do a lot of the work, and my wife, who's a huge part of this, she's a psychologist, Dr. Hernandez, and we divide the cost, and we run a not a mom and pop, that seems unfitting, but we run a grassroots healthcare clinic, and
Business.
not a,
Yeah.
not a clinic,
Clinic.
a movement,
Movement. Okay. I like that.
because it has a moral principle behind it. Okay. And it's the growth it has shown me that if all doctors, and this is a very bold, very inflammatory remark. If all doctors today, okay, 421, 2025, all doctors say, we're not going to mess around with insurance. We're going to only do cash pay. If the insurances want anything to do with us, we'll see you tomorrow at the negotiating table. Everything screeches to a halt faster than, one government tariffing another government.
Mm-hmm.
So you know how many stocks would go and just completely crash? We have that power. But it's that elephant that, there's the story about the elephant that gets, then they tie
Yeah.
him to the neck, and that
Right.
we're that elephant. But some of us, have already pulled that chain from the floor. So I'm doing it just so other people um, follow us and do the same, and then we create an environment where there's competition and there's alternatives um, for healthcare. So that's the beauty of it, and that's my main message.
Very well stated. And I think, I'm always very curious on the other end if you have received any stories or any feedback from your patients on how grateful they are, or thank you, Dr. Vaz, for helping my family, helping me. Anything you want to share that kind of stands out? Maybe one or two, no names, but
Yeah, absolutely. The first thing, all my patients have my cell phone, which is something that, again, like other
correct.
peers that have that are doctors, like, you're insane. Uh, you're gonna get flooded with calls. I don't. Um, People get surprised. I would say the anecdote that I see it every day happen. I have a new patient that's, I do very little promoting. It's If I do my job well, a patient brings me 2 or 3 patients,
Correct.
but I have to do my job well. Every time I sit down with them and they're like, I give them a sticky note. I'm OG. I'm old school. I have presentation cards and all that stuff. I like sticky notes. I'm like, all right, here's my cell phone. Anything happens, give me a call, shoot me a text. Right? It's your phone. I'm like, yeah.
It's like, are you
Shoot me a
serious?
text.
Are you
Like,
serious, Dr. Vaz? You're giving me
you're a
your
doctor.
cell phone?
Are you really a doctor? I'm like, yeah. You can look me up in the websites and all that stuff. And yeah. And they have this look of about them. I'm like, the older people appreciate it more, and because they still remember. 20-year-olds have never lived in a world that exists. Like, so my younger patients, but the 60-year-olds and 70-year-olds, they're like, again. I have it again. Okay, thank you. They grab the sticky note, and they're very grateful for it. But it's just, if nobody crosses that line, and I've been known to be a habitual line stepper all my life. If nobody crosses that line, we don't make change. And this is the line that needs to be crossed for healthcare to become affordable. We don't need fancy commercials. We don't need, the 3-floor clinics. In some instances we do, right? But that can't be the norm.
Right.
We need guys that are energetic. You need to be bold and proud of what you achieve, because being a doctor, my father-in-law told me once, and he passed since, but he's like, a doctor is not only a doctor. A doctor is an agent of change in society. If you're not doing that, and
Wow.
you're clocking in and you're clocking out, and you're getting your check from Acme Hospital Company, and you're showing up to the Christmas party on your suit, and you're towing the company line, which is not bad. I would just go ahead and say that's you. That's you. If you're towing the company line, I feel for you. I feel
I
for you,
think
because you're missing that essence, that the deliciousness of medicine.
that you're missing change. You're missing the paradigm shift.
Yes.
That's basically what you're doing. You're creating a new paradigm shift,
Mm-hmm.
like industries have done in the past. You're revolutionizing your industry by, you know, looking at where it's at, and you're a visionary, and you're actually taking that and making it better for not only other doctors if they choose to move forward in that realm, but for your patients. And I think that's awesome.
Yeah, it's incredible. And we've had Spectrum News show up a couple times in the office, and we've been blessed to be on here on your podcast, but we've been blessed to be on Joe Rogan adjacent podcasts, like the Tinfoil Hat podcast and
That's
Right America
awesome.
podcast. We've graced great platforms like El Nuevo Dia, which is the biggest newspaper in Puerto Rico, and habitually or frequently, other big podcasts as well, being a part of Hispanic podcasts as well that are huge, like Chente Drash's podcast. I think we've done the big things with that, and expanding our brand and our presence, which leads to more people being taken care of. It's not just emboldening ourselves and growing and being this cool kind of hippie movement clinic. No, it gives access to care because people listen. They're like, oh, I didn't know I could get seen for this much.
I like your stance as an entrepreneur. You mentioned that in the beginning, right?
Mm-hmm.
We're all business owners. We're working towards, trying to bring our brand out, so it has legs and has movement.
Mm-hmm.
So let's talk about, there are listeners here that are maybe aspiring entrepreneurs. Maybe they want to get into your industry in the medical
Mm-hmm.
field. Maybe they are stuck right now, trying to move that needle forward in their business.
Mm-hmm.
Any advice, since you're well versed,
Yeah.
that you can give, or pointers that you can give to our listeners about keeping that needle moving forward,
Yeah.
or
Well,
starting a business?
first of all, you have to believe in what you do, right? If it's healthcare, if it's psychology, if it's construction, if it's meal prep, whatever it is, you got to believe in what you do, and you got to do it well. When you have that self belief, there's a lot of limiting beliefs in entrepreneurship, and you have to go beyond that. And big corporations are intimidating, right? Because when you do something, there's somebody that is doing it right now bigger.
Mhm.
Undoubtedly,
Mhm.
somebody's doing. If you want to do something, somebody's doing millions of dollars doing something like that or adjacent to what you want to do. Don't let that unmotivate you, right? I have my clinic is a small clinic, 1,700 or 1,700 square feet, 5 rooms in there, small. We have psychology and we have healthcare in there, and there's in the same plaza, there's clinics that are double my space, or you drive further down the road and there's I don't want to mention any brands, but there's brand new hospitals that are
Right.
thousands and thousands of square feet and staffed
Buildings.
from top to bottom. But when you go through the door, nobody can tell you how much you're going to pay when you're going to be seen. It's like a magic trick.
Right.
You go to a David Copperfield show, he's not going to show you, how he made that tiger disappear. In
Right.
my clinic, I'll show you right off the bat. Hey, this is how I made my tiger disappear. $50. Come on in, sit down. You want a coffee? I got you. And so you have to believe in what you do, whatever you do. If you have self-belief, the second ingredient that I want on this recipe is grit. You have to have grit. You're gonna have bad days. You're gonna have bad weeks. You're gonna have bad months. And as an entrepreneurship, you're gonna have bad quarters, undoubtedly.
Mhm.
But that can't persuade you from reading. If it persuades you, it wasn't your dream. If that persuades you, it wasn't your dream. So you have to believe what you do. You have to have grit, and with those two ingredients, consistency. The last one. If you're consistent, you're gonna see the results. Those three, you put them together, and that's the perfect recipe to do whatever you want to do in the entrepreneurship realm.
I love it. Recipe for success. Well, Dr. Vaz, anything else you want to kind of share with our audience before we wrap this up?
Absolutely. When you're thinking about healthcare, I won't tell you come to Vascare Clinic, right? If you get to me, I'll show you what healthcare is, what's meant to be. But let's say you're shopping and you're not, because I'm in Tampa, Florida. Let's say you're not in Tampa, you're in Miami, which, by the way, so many people in Miami. I mean, so full. But
That
if
is
you're
true.
looking for a healthcare provider, you have to look for someone that one listens to you, always ask for credentials, talk to the person. If the person is in a computer and is not looking at you, you know that that's not your forever doctor.
Mm-hmm.
And ask for price up front, and ask what happens if I can't make that fee.
Right.
Do I have an alternative? Those are the questions that you have to make. There's far and few in between, but there's great doctors that are in the direct, what I do is called direct primary care / concierge, right? Concierge is a little bit pricier and a little bit bougier, but direct primary care. There's great doctors in that space that get flooded by the advertisement for the big players in the spot, in the industry. Yeah, correct.
Mm-hmm.
So look for the hidden gems. They're worth it. And if you're in Tampa, I got you.
Let's talk about that. Can you provide our listeners with a phone number as well as a website, or how to get
Absolutely. I'm old school. I'm on 3206 Cove Bend Drive. It's a fantastic office. We have psychological staff in there. We have a licensed mental LMHC, so licensed mental health. But they say, is it coach or counselors? Licensed mental health counselors. My wife is here too.
Awesome.
She's verifying that I don't say anything too crazy. So we have licensed mental health counselors that are phenomenal, that handle anything from pediatric cases in the psychological realm to family counseling, to couples therapy, to individual therapy for depression, anxiety. We do testing for neuropsychometric diseases like autism and ADHD. So we have the test that Dr. Hernandez takes care of that. So we have those services. And in the office, of course, you'll have old school internal medicine with me. And we do take some insurances. We're a hybrid office. We take Cigna, Aetna, Medicare, Humana, TRICARE, those. But for the people that don't have insurance, which are one of the demographics I most care for, the visits are always flat. It's $50. You want to come in for a toothache, you want to come in to get some antibiotics, you want to come in because you need a refill for your high blood pressure medicine, you want to come in because you have some chest pain, the fee is going to always be exactly the same. So I dare you to try it and see the difference.
Dr. Vaz, it's been such a pleasure, being able for you to share your vision, what you're currently doing for your patients and future patients as well. And the business model that you and your wife have set up is very, it's a good model. And I just want to thank you so much for being part of this. And
absolutely.
And hopefully we can have you back in the near future again.
Love to.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for tuning in to First Media Consulting Podcast. If you enjoyed the podcast, subscribe today. To nominate a business you would like to recommend to be on our show, go to firstmediaconsulting.com or call. Thank you for listening.